He's a really good friend of mine from Coach Smiley's gym. Really cool guy to talk to. I really enjoy talking to him. A very smart guy, very interesting. He lived in different parts of the world. He's traveled. He's been in very weird situations. He practiced martial arts in different parts of the world too. So I like to introduce you guys to him and listen to his story. So get ready, get excited, and this should be a fun episode. Yeah, I got that as a wedding gift. Not a wedding gift, like
As a wedding gift?
a groomsman gift.
Groom, okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
Wow.
Spartan.
Something else. That's pretty cool.
All right, I'm here with Coach Eliza.
Oh, you Frank?
What's up?
Hey.
All right, so I already told you what this podcast is that I believe everyone has a story to tell,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to find people to tell interesting stories.
All right. All right. What would you like to know first about me? What do you like? What do you want to know?
Somebody told me you used to live in Thailand.
I did. I lived in Thailand for 6 months one time.
What happened?
What happened? Why did I leave? Or what happened?
Well, why'd you go and why'd you come back?
I think I looked around after my mom passed. I think what grounded me here a lot was my mom, and I've always wanted to travel as a kid, and her getting real ill was almost like it was like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do much. I didn't date. Her biggest taking care of her was her biggest thing. Women didn't trust me because they could only see me at night. I mean, seriously, they would only see me at night, and it was because I worked during the afternoon, and I would come home, and I put my mom to sleep. I put her to bed and things like that, and women would always be like, "Oh no, something's up with this guy." No, my mom was just, she was just that ill, and but once she passed or whatnot, that's when I started. Like why am I really here? This world's too big to just stay in one place.
Yeah.
And at first it was going to be Brazil. And
why Brazil?
Because I did jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah.
And then I started looking up Brazil and whatnot. I was like, oh man, this is real nice. The women are beautiful. Then, you scroll out a little bit more and it's like gangs. People hack with machetes.
The outskirts.
Right. And I'm not a touristy person. I want to immerse myself in the culture and submerge. But it was so I said I'm going to wait on that. Then next was Africa, and then I worked with a female from Kenya.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh yeah, Africa's beautiful," and I was like, "Oh, I can go back to the motherland,"
Come on.
And then I'm reading up on them, like, man, you mean you could be having dinner at a little diner or whatnot, and the roof gets blown off, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that can happen." So I go, "Okay, next."
It's like a hurricane out here,
right?
Never a hurricane.
So I probably still may go, but then it was Thailand. Thailand was my next one, and I like Muay Thai. Beautiful place, beautiful people, really nice people. And that's what happened. I think I was really just at first I was all happy about it, and I'm on the plane and everything, and as soon as we touched down, I'm looking at the airport. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And these big tears welled up in my eyes. I'm like, why the hell am I here? So I get off. I'm like, okay, I've done it. So I'm like, maybe I just jump back on the plane and go back home. But no, actually, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I met a lot of cool people there. I can honestly tell you the one thing, no matter where you go in this world, you're going to find someone just like you. Somebody who's sad, somebody that's going through something horrible, or somebody that wants to change. And I found a lot of people like that. I'm like, man, even if you don't speak the language, the people, you're just going to find things. And I noticed that the poorer the people were, the nicer they were.
Yeah.
It was amazing to me. I mean, at that time, I might have been too 270, 280, and you'd have these like 5'2" people giving you the last of their food, like. You know what I'm saying? It was like they should look at me and be like, "Yeah, the last thing he needs is another plate."
we could kill him,
right? And eat him, right? But no, it was really cool. It was really really cool. I tell you, it was leaving was just as sad as when I got there. I mean, I did not want to come back. You know, I was just really sad, and I just ran out of money, and it was 6 months, and traveled to Burma because my passport had the visa.
Yeah.
So I had to go to Burma. Now that was funny. Oh man, that was funny.
What happened?
We you had to travel, man, from Phuket to Bangkok, and that was like 12 hours. And then you had to, and then it was another 12-hour ride to Burma, right? The outskirts of Burma. Then it was like a 45-minute boat ride, And, man, I'll tell you, we go there, and this guy goes, look, and they're translating to us, and he's like, hey, you're going to see some gates. He's like, don't go past those gates, And, like, oh, man, I'm all about adventure and everything, whatever, man. He's like, well, I tell you what, you go past those gates, nobody's coming to see you. Nobody's coming to try to get you out. I'm like, what? He's like, man, there's a fucking war going on.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I said, what? He's like, oh, yeah, man. He goes, that war's been going on over 60 years. He goes, you go out there as big as you are, you're going to be held for ransom. I mean, and I'm like, oh, man. I was like, really? He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, man. So I guess they'd made a pact or a treaty or whatever that they won't come into the little border area and snatch people up or whatnot and, that kind of thing. But it was cool. I mean, I had a good time. It was really cool.
So why'd you come back?
I guess, there's no place like home. No matter where you go in the world, it's what you know. I mean, I still had family here, people who loved me here. So it was, plus I don't think they gave me a citizenship. I don't know. But, it was just some places you don't want every place to be like home. You want something to be different. So I do plan on going back one day. And like I said, studying Muay Thai was really good. First 3 months I was on board. And the last 3 months, you just got to go see the country and the party life and things like that. But, yeah. But, yeah, people love me here. Still have family. So that was why I came back.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like when I first went to college, I wanted to get the hell out of Jacksonville. And I traveled and worked in Savannah for 3 years and worked for Disney on the ship. And I was like, nah, I don't want to. I'd rather go back home.
Yeah. Right. I was a seaman for a while, too. I mean.
In the Navy?
Yeah. No. Merchant Marine.
Oh, wow.
And they told us, man, stay away from those Carnival.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, man, he goes, stay away from that. He goes, man, he's like, you're going to be wanting work, but, it's Carnival cruises. He goes, they're all nice to the people and everything, but he goes, man, the workers, your gum underneath the shoe. And
it's like that with well, I'm not sure about Carnival, but I know with Disney, I felt bad for a lot of people that worked there. I got lucky with my contract because I was in an officer status, so I had my own cabin. I had 3 months on and 2 months off, so 2 months vacation, and I had decent pay. But then, I was looking at my subordinates, and I think they worked 5 months on and 2 months off, so they're away from their home for 5 months. So basically 10 months out of the year, and the highest pay that one of the guys got was $21,000 a year.
Yeah,
American. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's like
this is slave labor.
Yeah, that's McDonald's.
Yeah, it's like you gotta work every day for 5 months.
Yeah, and when you talk about 12 hours, I had a friend who did it, and 12 hours of washing dishes, and he goes from the time his shift started until the time it ended, he was washing dishes. I'm like, what are you talking about? I go, are there that many dishes? He's like, yeah. He goes, you're talking about a floating city. Man, it just
Yeah, that's what it is. But
Yeah.
usually there's like 7,000 people on the ship, and then I had to go investigate the fights on the ship and stuff. I can understand why some of these guys got fights, especially the cooks, because all that stress and
Oh yeah.
you don't have time to cool off. And the thing with Disney was that basically the cult of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yo, you should be happy you're working for Disney. And then like you have these standards where you have to watch what you say because some people will rat you out.
Right. Sure.
If you make like little like dirty sex jokes.
Yeah. Which Disney's full of
It's
that.
like, oh,
you look at their movies.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like, well, no, I could never go back to that lifestyle. I'm glad I did it. Was met my ex fiance do that, but I was like, no,
Right.
never again.
Right. I understand.
Oh shit. So how'd you get into become a merchant marine?
When or how?
When and how?
I think again, I'm a sucker for adventure, and I've always heard about it and whatnot. The old timers, they tell us about it, and I'm like, oh, I think I want to do it. Mm-hmm. And you're on the ships from sometimes, like I said, months at a time. I mean, you're on the ships months at a time, and I can pretty much adapt to a lot of things. I mean, it's I had vertigo real bad once just walking around. So
really?
Imagine that on the ship. Oh yeah. I fell off like 4 stairs one time, you know what I mean? But on a ship, it's not as bad. I mean, we'd get guys that get sick during, you have blue water and you have gray water.
Yeah.
And you'd have guys getting like sick once they hit gray water. And I'm thinking, really? I'm talking about just throwing up, unable to stand up, unable to see straight. I'm like, wow, And I put in for a company. I won't say the name of the company, but I come in one day and he's like, hey, I need you to join the union if you want work. And I'm thinking, well, I join the union. He's like, oh yeah. You got your union dues and this, that, and the other. I'm thinking, well, that means I've got to pay you to work.
I got it.
And he's like, well, don't look at it that way.
But it's
Look at it, right.
Yeah.
Look at it as, job security and you're secured in your job. And so, I'm looking at the captain. I'm like, well, if I'm doing my job, shouldn't that be secured enough? Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, things happen. We want to make sure that you're not overworked because a lot of times the companies that you work for, they'll try to overwork you. You're only supposed to do 12 hours, sometimes 16 hours. You're not supposed to go into 20. And I'm like, well, if that's what's supposed to happen, well, I'll have to pay somebody to make sure that it doesn't happen to me, So he's sort of looking at me sideways like, yeah, this guy here, So I was like, no, I'm just not into paying people to work. So he's sort of, got on this horse about, this is a cushion job. Just, a lot of do you realize how many people, this is what he's telling me, how many people would like to be in your situation right now, and I'm thinking, I guess, I'm sure a lot of people want to dig a ditch if it makes $1. And so he kind of smirked and everything, and I go, the seaman life is great, but let's be honest. I mean, usually the guys that jumped on these ships back in the day, they were forced on them. I mean, where do you think the term Shanghai come from? They get these guys. I'm serious, man. I did research if this kind of job was so great, people would just be jumping into it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you had to get guys drunk and hit this little lever, and they fall down. They wake up, on a ship in the middle of nowhere, looking around like, here's the mop, here's the paint, here's the tar. Get to work. But I mean, I don't knock it. I don't know. When I look at work, I mean, I've got to do it. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to enjoy doing it. Yeah. So I'm not going to pay you to enjoy doing what I got to do. Yeah. Don't get it, but yeah, that was it. That was cool. I've been on a couple ships. Cargo ships, they're cool. I've been on a security vessel. I've been on one tugboat. That's kind of creepy. Tugboat. Yeah.
Really?
That's a tugboat. The only way I can describe a tugboat, it's like a floating muscle. Yeah. It's a giant motor on a shell.
With the tires up front for the
yeah,
bumpers.
yeah. I mean, and you're thinking you're pulling in these huge. I mean, you only think tugboats just pull in crap, like the barges and stuff like. But you got to think, when a lot of the vessels, 400-foot, 500-foot vessels, can't get in. They've got to. That's what brings in these vessels. You're like, man, or they're they tow them in when they broke down in the middle of the sea. It's crazy.
It's amazing how powerful those small boats are.
It is. It's a giant. I'm serious. It's a floating muscle. That's all it is, man. And it's, it was cool. It was cool.
Tugboat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's one thing I do remember. I liked about Disney. I had to go get some paper sign whenever we get refueled, and we have tugboat come on the side of the boat with the fuel barge. Mm-hmm. It was always cool seeing that small boat pushing this massive barge.
Yeah. You'll be surprised how much, no matter how big you are, when you're in the water, you can be moved. The water. Yeah, the water issues, makes everything even.
So what other jobs you did?
Oh man, mental health. That was I was a mechanic for a while. Then I did mental health. Mental health was man, that was great. It was great, and it was scary at times. It was everything. I mean, mental health was like, it helped form, I guess, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I originally went into mental health because I thought something was wrong with me.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, man, these issues, these feelings, when I was a kid, like, I remember looking at a bird who couldn't fly. Mm-hmm. I just broke down. I could not, I was really sad that this bird had a hurt wing.
Yeah.
And, my dad was one of those, hey, what are we going to do about it? I mean, what are you, a bird doctor? He was that kind of guy, we're catching the bus to go grocery shopping. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, he's got bigger things on his mind. We've got to catch the bus to go grocery shopping and then walk half a mile from the bus stop to the grocery store. Didn't give a damn about a bird, but that whole day, I was worried about that bird. And I'm like, man, is that normal? As I got older, little things like that. I'd watch stuff on TV. And I just go, man, that is so sad. I couldn't, am I normal? Because all of my other friends, they'll look at the same thing I'm looking at and go, I'm thinking. So, but I did. I went in, and I'm normal.
Yeah. You're like, wait a minute, compared to these guys.
Yeah, I'm normal compared to these guys. But, man, it was, mental health was, man, I worked the psych ward for years. It was, man, that was something else. So, if that didn't get your juices flowing. And,
what did you do in the psych ward?
Well, originally I started off as a mental health tech.
Yeah.
And you're just like a glorified bouncer. It's when the nurses piss off the client, the clients, whatever they call them now, the patients or whatnot. Mm-hmm. They send us in to, go put him in restraints. It maybe hadn't yelled at this guy. Excuse me. He probably wouldn't be pissed. So it would be, man. You talk about stories. There was one story. This guy looked like he could bench press, a Cummins engine. I mean, this guy was huge, dude, huge. And man, I just got off of a 16-hour shift, 10 minutes before I clock out, and it was like 7 in the morning. And this guy, I kid you not, his arms were so big he couldn't fold them to use the phone. He had to use a phone like that, literally. And he'd been quiet all night or whatnot. And this lady walks in. I won't say her name, but she walks in. And he's on the phone 30 seconds longer than he was supposed to be on the phone. And the next thing I hear is, you need to get off of that phone right now. Get off of that phone. So I look over, and it's him she's yelling at. Uh-huh. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I look over at my partner. He's like, man, let's hurry up. Let's leave. Let's leave. So we're trying to sign everything out and hand over the paperwork or whatnot. And she turns around. She's like, Elijah, you and I forget his name. You come over here right now. Send him to his room. And I look over at this guy, man. Like I said, he's like a freaking brick house. And he takes the phone and he slams it. Wham! I'm like, oh, my God. And then he takes his hand, the palm of his hand, he just slaps the glass like plexiglass.
Yeah.
Boom. I mean, it just resonates. And I'm thinking, oh, my God. Robert was his name.
Yeah.
And I said, Robert, man, this is about to get ugly. He's like, oh, man. He's like, well, we got to do what we got to do. He's like, yeah. We walk over. As we're bent in the corner, this guy, huge guy, breaks out and goes, you don't have to fucking talk to me like that. And we're like, what? You know, he's like, huge guy. You think this guy talk like, but he just breaks out crying, man. He's like, just crying. So I go, I don't know, we'll call him Telly because I can't say his name anyway.
Yeah.
You know, confidentiality. And I'm like, hey, Mr. Telly, man, look, I'm sorry this happened. I mean, this guy's balling. He's balling. And I'm thinking, oh, man. I'm like, look, when I get back on shift, you can have an additional 3 minutes if we can just walk you back to your room without incident. And he's like, yeah, I don't want any problems. I just don't like the way she talks to me. She's just so mean. And I'm like, would you like an extra juice for breakfast? Yeah. Anything to keep, because, I mean, we've been in those, these guys, man, they tear the unit up. I mean, they'd hurt you. I mean, I had a filling knocked out. I've had my lip busted. I've had, oh, yeah. Yeah, man, I've been knocked everything but out. No joke. And I've not been knocked out yet, but I've came close to it. But it's fun. It's really fun. I've had guys on the unit that I didn't even like. You know, like we didn't talk. You know, it's like, here's your paperwork, thank you. You know? But, you know, when it was a stat call, bam, we were together. We didn't like each other for whatever the reason was. I don't know. He didn't like, I don't know. It was just some guys you just did not mesh with. But being in that environment made you realize that you didn't have to like each other. You just had to have each other's back during those important times because you can get killed.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I mean, I saw a guy cut his throat. You know, came in with a razor in his mouth.
Shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm like, that could have been one of us. And the nurse is like, hey, you need to go in there and get that razor. I'm not going in there.
It's like, wait,
did you see what he just did to himself?
let's wait till you bleeds out a little bit. He lose consciousness.
He did that to himself. What do you think he's going to do to me? Nah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that. But, yeah, it was cool. Then I moved into behavior, and I was a behavior analyst for a while.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I found out, you know, that's funny. You know,
why is that funny?
Behavior is behavior.
Yeah.
You know, people sit up and say, you know, a dog's behavior is different than a cat's behavior, different than a human's behavior. No, it's all the same. The behavior we're taught is anything a dead person can't do.
Yeah, people, I think, confuse behavior and personality. Those are
correct.
Those are different.
Correct. And that, you know, personality and characters and all these type of things. And, you know, and it's just, I'm telling you, it's a lot deeper. And I think that helps me in the field that I am now as far as a fight coach. And because I can see personalities.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're acting a behavior, but their personality is like a douche. Like, you know, you get a guy, you're like, hey, man, use your jab. He's like, oh, I'm using my jab. You're not damn using your jab because I'm sitting here telling you to use it.
Don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. You know, I pay you to tell me what to do.
Right. Well, you know, and then you come back, you know, and you look like you got the mumps because the guy's hit you so many times, you know, and it's like, what am I doing wrong? Everything, you know, but, you know, and I learned there's a fighter's mentality, there's a trainer's mentality. And being in the school that I am now helped me with that because a lot of times when I did train, I trained everybody like a fighter.
Yeah.
And because I believe that training, you should have a fighter's mentality.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're training to do. This isn't a joke. When you go out into the street or you go to the supermarket, you go to pump gas, if someone grabs you, you should be able to, without fear, forget the, oh my God, is this happening? No, that's what gets you hurt. You know, is this happening? That little bit of time right there because you're in disbelief is what gets you hurt. So, this is happening now. So you're already in that mindset. But then you got some people that are just like, I don't want to, you know, I just want to be here amongst the fighters. You know, I just want to be here amongst people. I just want to tell my friends when I go out, I train with fighters. You know, I do MMA. You know, I train MMA, you know. So, and that's fine, you know, and I realized that. And I had to, you know, I was a really hard coach. I mean, man, you know, my coach has sort of, you know, watered me down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, but man, yeah, I'd grind you. because that's and not being a jerk, but because man, I'm training you to go to war.
Yeah.
I'm not here to make you feel good. Don't come back, But if you get hurt, it won't be because I was that guy. But then, like I said, the personalities and the guys that say, "Hey, I don't want to fight. I just want to roll around a little bit." Okay. And like I said, this is what I want to do until I die. Done a lot of things, but I think this is it. I think I want to coach until it's over.
So is coaching full time now for you, or
it is? Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, wow. It is. Yeah. I mean, and it's slow at the moment. I mean, when I say slow, it's one of those things where it's you make it happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's what I want. It also motivates me because I mean, I can go and run a group home or something like that.
Yeah.
But then why? I mean, it's going to get in the way of my dreams. So if I've got to sleep out of a gym, out of my spot or whatever, that's what I'll do.
If you run a group home, don't you gotta live there too?
Sometimes, yes.
So, no.
Yeah, sometimes you do. Yeah, sometimes you do. Yeah. I've done it before, but I just don't want to. It is time consuming. It is your life.
Yeah, you it's like one of those situations you can't walk away from it. Mm-mm. Like I need to go home and relax. Like home.
No, this is
work.
Home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before you know it, you're doing things. I had an ex when I used to come home or whatnot. She would just, I could tell you had a rough day. Like you're talking loud, you're repeating yourself. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'll have some of those peas. Mm-hmm. Did I tell you about those peas? I'll take a little bit of those peas, all right? And you find yourself doing that. Well, you don't have to tell me that. I heard you the first time. But when you're in that environment, you're having to make sure that the people that you're working with, and what they like for you to say working for now, whatever that means, but right. But they want you to be able. You got to make sure that they're understanding what you're saying, and trust me, it wears you down. I'm a great actor, Like how many times I've wanted to discipline one of these people, but it's like you got to pretend not to be angry and all that kind of stuff because once they see that you're angry, they're gonna get you. I mean, I had one guy, no joke. This dude, I don't know what it was about me, man. This dude would ride me from, if I came in at 3 and leave at 11, he would ride me from 3 o'clock until 11. No joking, man. I'd walk in, here comes fat ass Elijah. Oh man! I mean,
where was this at?
Mental Health Center, Jacksonville.
Okay.
Oh man, this dude was. I kid you not. Anytime I was in his sight, man, he would just ride me. Smoke break, I'd be handing out cigarettes or whatnot. Nutty Professor finger ass nigga. Stuff like that,
Nutty
man.
Professor.
I mean, he was just. I kid you not. It was like I don't know, man. He'd wake up out of his sleep to bother me. Mm-hmm. But we'd have to, walk around and go, oh, no, I'm going to ignore that because if we just ignore it, he'll stop. Shit.
No, sometimes
it doesn't work.
What's that phrase? Sometimes stop a bully, you gotta show them their own blood.
Hey, hey. Yeah. Well, in that environment, though, that was a no-no. If you so much as said, hey, say that again, I'll knock your head off. All right? If you said something like that, they make a call, bam, you're standing tall before the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, it's I've been gone after with homemade shanks.
What the?
Yeah, man, I'm serious. They'll take a toothbrush, sharpen
that.
Yeah. Just crazy stuff, man. We had a guy from Europe, and he would save smoke, the cigarette butts. I didn't know why. Mm-hmm. He did it. But he wasn't supposed to because it's considered contraband. And he would take, we'd come in every so often and clean all that crap out. Well, what he would do, and I noticed some of them were hard.
Yeah.
Where was that? Didn't think about it. We had another guy, he was from Bosnia. He worked with us. And he goes, oh, no, man, you can't let these people have this. He goes, they make knife out of this. I said, what are you talking about, a knife? Well, he took the cigarette butt.
Yeah.
And he peeled back the little wrapper on it, and he took a lighter, and it melted. It was like fiberglass, and he does it, and he takes my hand. Oh yeah, and he goes, now it may not rip, but he goes, if you get caught across the eye, you're blind. Ugh. And I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, who thinks of this stuff? He goes, people that are incarcerated that have time to think about nothing but this. And that's what that guy did. And I was like, that's why they were hard. He goes, yeah. He was burning them, and he was going to actually maybe stick them all together, mold them together, and make a sharper. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, crazy, man. Yeah. Wow. Forks. They come out with forks. You know.
I remember seeing at one of these police museums, they had like all the makeshift weapons they got from the jail, and one of them was a paper mache mace, like the ball and chain, the spikes on the ball. It was made out of paper mache. Yeah. And it worked.
Yeah.
They used it like it worked.
Yeah. I mean, toilet paper, man, is powerful once you wet it and you layer it. Yeah, man. I used to work at the DDC here in Jacksonville, and these kids would make their shoelaces out of toilet paper. They would make dice out of toilet paper. They would make they take toilet paper and make dominoes. You know, they just wet it and layer it, and it gets a thickness, and they draw the little eyes on the dice. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah.
It's amazing, though.
Yeah. It's like, what else we got to do? You know, what else are we going to do? We're sitting here, we're in here X amount of time out during the day. What are we going to do? You know, shoestrings. Seriously, shoestrings.
That's still amazing, though. I didn't know you could make shoestrings out of toilet paper.
Out of toilet paper. Yep, these kids would make it. Yeah, they'd sit there and roll it up, wet it, roll it up, wet it, and then they string the shoe up with it. Once it's hardened, you just put your foot in and out the shoe. The shoe doesn't slide, flop off.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. Trust me, I've seen a lot. So.
I remember you telling me that you used to do for a short period of time the border patrol.
Yeah, I didn't go. I trained with guys that did. And man, that was originally I wanted to join the actual border patrol.
Yeah.
And when I was doing the research and like, man, you're telling me wait, there's one border patrol agent for like 100 miles? You know, and I'm thinking, wait, 100 miles by myself? I've got, what do you do? What do you do for 100 miles? You know, it was something like that. And then I was going to go training with, I trained actually with a couple guys. And, man, some of these guys are kooks. Like, it's not about so much bordering and all that kind of stuff. And originally I just wanted to go for the experience, the sneak and peek, that kind of thing. There were a lot of guys who were veterans, and I realized that everybody that says they were a veteran, it's like you graduated boot camp.
Yeah.
You're not a veteran. You went to boot camp, you got out because, I don't know, your spleen hurt or something, and you call yourself a veteran. Yeah. I'm running to a lot of those guys. But a lot of those guys were just mean-spirited. It was nothing to do about drugs and, and things like that, man. There was a lot of the Nazi mindset, just very, very, very.
Oh,
the white supremacist minds. It was, I forgot what they actually called themselves, man, but they were just mean-spirited people. Just, I'm like, I'm not going out there. I mean, you're going to be the guys that I'm going to be 10 miles in the fucking desert with? Are you serious? No, I'm not doing that. So cut that short. That was real short. Yeah, that was a venture that, because, you're telling me you've got what do they call them, the coyotes on this side, or the guys that are trafficking the people here. And
I forgot the terms.
Yeah, but
I remember
coyotes
or
whatnot. And then I've got these guys on this side. I'm stuck in the middle,
No, I couldn't do that job.
No. It was short-lived.
I think one guy I knew on the police force, I think he did border patrol, and he said, like, I need to get out here. I need to get out of this.
It's almost like it's set up to fail. You know what I mean? It's like, man, if you're saying that this is terrible, then why do you have one person per this? You know what I mean? Like, or 3 guys per that. I mean, 3 guys per 300 miles, or 3 guys. How do you expect for these guys to do what they're supposed to do when you've got those kind of numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like I'm into both borders. Well, I haven't crossed over the Mexican border, but I drove past it, and you see how the border is militarized in a way. Then you go to Canada. It's like they're friendly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they all have guns. Like, oh, yeah, come on.
Yeah. Do you promise not to be doing anything wrong over here? Do you promise? All right, we'll let you
this
in.
is Canada. Nobody wants to hurt Canada.
What have they done?
That's right. That was close. Man. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought for a moment.
Yeah, you don't have enough time today for the stuff that I've gone through, man. We'd have to make this like a part 5 here because it's a lot of. I've had a lot of experiences, man. I've had a lot of experiences. I'm grateful. I mean, I don't say good and bad. I don't believe in good and bad experiences. I'll say comfortable and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, because you learn something from everything, and you know, and when I hear people say that was a bad experience, I'm like, man, it was uncomfortable. You know, being on a boat in Southeast Asia and having these guys whipping a rifle around in your face, that was uncomfortable. Yeah, that was, you know, but I don't know. I don't believe. I don't see good and bad. I just see things that I see. Life is like a bunch of lefts and rights and straights, and you know what I mean. Like have you ever been in an accident before? A car accident.
Yeah.
And what happens is, what goes through your mind is, had I left the house 5 minutes earlier,
Oh yeah, the what ifs.
this wouldn't have happened. Had I have left the house 5 minutes later, this wouldn't have happened. But I didn't. So I'm smack dab in the middle of this. So obviously this is where I was supposed to be at that. Even though I don't like it, even though it's miserable, even though, okay, now I'm probably going to have to catch the bus or bum ride. But either or, this is where I was supposed to be. I couldn't have done it differently. That's how life is. And you know, and I don't think it's about, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't think it's about anything, you know, had you have not done this, or had you not done that, this. No, I just think that we've made appointments to be where we are in life. I mean, even if I'm homeless next month, you know, at some time I made an appointment to be homeless.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not good. You know, I was 400 freaking pounds. I made an appointment to be 400. Yeah, I made an appointment. You know, all of that, because nothing happens overnight. You don't get fat overnight, and you don't lose the weight overnight. Everything now, once it gets to a head, and you're like, when the hell did this happen? You know, and you start looking at yourself, and all your clothes are like holding on by
duct tape it.
Right.
Duct tape it.
All of your clothes are basically sweatpants and, you know, rubber waist pants. You know, you're like, this isn't right. When did this happen? You know, or you saying, hey man, I need you to be in my wedding. You know, you don't think about this stuff until you've got to dress up.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, you know, oh sure, you know. Well, what's your pants size? 44. He brings you a 44 and they're like baby pants. You know?
What?
Oh no, you're like 58. You know, what? When did this happen?
Yeah, this is from a whale.
Yeah, you know, Igor the tent maker. You know, but to me, that's, like I said, that's just me. I mean, other people see things differently. Divine, I don't. I just it's what you make it.
Yeah. Well, you talking about the whole clothes thing? I went to a wedding. My former partner from the police, he got married, but he gave, like, I heard the stories. I haven't seen him in years. And he doesn't put pictures of himself on Facebook. One guy told me, like, he's probably the width of a car now. I'm like, I don't believe that.
Wow.
Then when I got there, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, and the funny thing was, like, man, this used to be my partner.
Yeah. The guy's gonna pull me out of a jam.
Like,
or
if I need him to run after someone, he wasn't
over.
going.
So yeah, and that's what happens, man. It's small. To me, it's little things that add up to big things, and once we get to that big thing, we're just like, oh my God! But we forget about how many small things that led up to this. It's like my goal is to, and I mean, I want to train. I want to coach a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But there has to be a lot of small things that happen before that big thing happens. You know, I've got to go through a lot of different guys where this guy says he wants to do it. Well, he doesn't want to put in the training. This guy wants to put in the training, but he can't because he's got 4 kids that he's got to feed. This guy, you know what I'm saying? He wants to do it, but he's in and out of jail. You see what I mean? So I've got to go through a lot of things before I get to that. And then once I've done it, it's like, oh, I've done it. I'm here. It's huge, but look at how much I had to go to get to that day. And when you think about life, it's the same thing, rather it's gaining weight. How many, Twinkies and Ho-Hos did you have? Now, they're not big. They're small.
They add up.
Yeah, they're adding up, right. And that's the thing, is that these small things are what add up. And that's what's going to create the bigger picture. And then, now that you're at that bigger picture, do you want it or you don't want it? I don't want to be 400 pounds anymore. What do? I stop eating so much. Start training again. Well, it's hard. Of course it's hard.
Yeah.
Wasn't hard when you were eating those Twinkies and Ho-Hos. I mean, it is hard on your
easy.
body. Yeah.
It tastes good. It feels good.
Oh, yeah.
It feels so good.
Or you say to yourself, in the middle of running or grappling or doing something like that, or you're doing, 10 minutes of stand-up, boxing and hitting, you know that stuff is hard. You're just like, well, wait a minute. Who wants to do this? Look at how horrible I feel when I can go get a whole pizza, sit down and eat it and watch TV, and I'm feeling fine. So, again, it's where do you want to be in the end? Okay, yeah, I lived all of this, pizzas and Ho-Hos and 2-liter sodas, and I was fine. Oh, I got diabetes. Yeah, they're going to have to amputate a toe, a foot. Oh, this is horrible. But if you live, if you exercise, don't get me wrong, I've known people that exercise every day, ate right, still died of a heart attack.
That happened.
Yeah. So
I can remember, and this is when we mentioned it. I actually mentioned this in 2 other podcasts or 2 other interviews. A story about the kid. He was playing high school basketball. I think he was going to go to college basketball, and halfway through the game, he died. Got a heart attack. It happens. He's like he was a healthy. There was nothing athletic.
Turns, man, twists and turns. I've known people. No joking. When I was a kid, they drank. And when I became an adult, they were drinking. Then all of a sudden, they just turned their life over.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm going to turn over a new leaf. I'm going to start fucking 2 months, they're dead. You know what I mean?
Because he can't stop drinking alcohol on a dime like that. Yeah, wean off.
Like, what happened? You know what I mean? I'm just like, wait. This guy could smoke 6 packs a day. Do the math. 20 cigarettes, and you're doing 6 packs a day? Do the math, and it was like, this guy could drink like a fish, but as soon as, man, it's like he got sick as a dog. They were, you got this going on and that going on. It's 2 months, he was dead. Yeah, he should have kept drinking. Drinking was a part of his life. But hey, what?
So enjoy that
I don't
last
know.
drink.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't have the answers to it. I think I'm like everybody else. We're fumbling around in this place we call Earth and Life, trying to figure things out. And to me, just when I thought I had it, like, my reason for existence is X, No, it's not. That can't be it because this shit's miserable. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. And I found the peace in saying I don't know in a lot of stuff. I found the peace in saying, I don't know why I'm here. What if I'm just an organism? Yeah. What if I'm just another thing in this thing? What if I'm just that? I'm not saying it for anyone else, but what if that's just me? What if that's what I am? I'm just a cell in a body that can create. People, you're crazy. Well, there's a lot of things that go on in our bodies now that we don't know. Our heart's pumping.
Yeah.
Our lungs are expanding.
Well, they found out we have another organ, I think, earlier this year.
Really?
Yeah, doctors like, there's a, after, 150, 200 years, actually pure medical science. It's like, wait, we have another organ.
Well, here it is. Guess what that is? That's an organ.
It's like, I think it's right next to the spleen or right next to the small intestine. But it's like, yeah, that's actually another organ.
See, I just, and that's me. I don't know. And like I said, I found the peace in that, and just saying, I don't know. Why do I feel certain ways I feel? I don't know. I just do. Why don't I believe certain things I don't believe? You know, I'm also a logical person. Logic dictates a lot to me. I can't, you know, I was blind following when I was younger. And I don't have a problem with people like that.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I remember when my grandmother died, you know, and I was like, well, you know, why did she die? Well, God took her. Oh, okay, God took her. You know? Oh, she had cancer.
Holy shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, why would God take her? He knows I love her, and He knows my mom loves her. Look how sad my mom is. Mm-hmm. Look how sad it made the family. Why would God take her? Well, that's His plan. Oh, crap. That's a pretty crappy plan. You know, He made everybody sad by saying, well, you know, people don't belong to us anyway. You know, your wife don't belong to you. Your mom doesn't belong to you. You don't belong to this person. So at any given time, they can be taken from you. So you go into this life like, well, how am I ever supposed to be in love with anybody if they could just be taken away from me? How can I ever say that I love someone, I'm in love with someone, or I'm going to dedicate my life if they could be just taken away from me? Yeah. And then and for years I was into that. Like, oh, okay, well, you know, she died. God must have took her. No, she had diabetes, and she had dialysis, and she did do this. Like, wait. Shit. And then I had to realize, like, wait a second. Maybe that's the way people deal with the pain. They deal with the pain because they can't explain it. Mm-hmm. They don't know why, you know. But when I look back, well, I know why. She had diabetes. Yeah, you know, she had diabetes.
Could be just denial.
And exactly. She had she had high blood pressure. Well, you know, that's sad. Well, not really. She ate chitterlings every holiday, and I mean, it's the way you live. It's like the way you die. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're a soldier, soldiering, the odds are you may get killed. You know, people go, well, you know, you're a soldier type thing. If you were what they call a gangbang, you get killed on the streets. You know, it's the way you live. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if I scarfed down, and I had to check my diet too. I mean, like I said, I was I could drink a gallon of soda in a day. Mm-hmm. Just pickling my insides probably. Pickle. You know, but I just look at some things could, you know, did your mom have to die of cancer? Yeah, she did. I mean,
I guess it depends what type of cancer.
Right. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? It's those things like, you know, how do we say what couldn't have happened? Well, she went to she had the surgery. Still having. Well, she didn't have to. You know, I used to have the older people, you know, she didn't have to die. You know, she didn't have to die of cancer. Well, what was she going to die of? Well, you know, I don't know.
These old people.
Oh, yeah.
No, I dodged it.
You know,
I dodged it.
You know, it's crazy, man. My dad was funny. Mm-hmm. If you got him on, I can tell you, but my dad was funny. Mm-hmm. Huge, funny dude. When I say funny, he wasn't like a comedian funny. He was like a real life, I don't give a shit about how you feel, take it, leave it, what you going to do about it, whip my ass type funny. And he died when he was 74.
Oh.
Yeah, right?
For a good age.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he used to always say, you know, the old man upstairs promised us 70 years. You know, that's 70 years. You know, so if I fucking drop dead tomorrow, damn it, he's fulfilled his promise. You know, that kind of thing. He
fulfilled it.
Yeah. So he had a congestive heart failure. You know, yeah. And they were like, hey, you know, Mr. Nero, we can, all you have to do is get this surgery, this procedure. Mm-hmm. You know, he was healthy as a bull. He could outride a bicycle most young people. Yeah. And he's like, I ain't get no damn surgery. You know, well, no, it's not a surgery, it's a procedure. You white people, you slick ass words.
You slack ass, slick ass words.
Procedure, surgery, yeah. So, and then you know, so he entertained it until he heard the word groin.
Ooh. Oh, they're going to enter.
Yeah. So all he thought was penis. Something's going into my penis. You know, that's all he thought. That's all he heard, and that was it on that. Right? That was it. And they were like, here, you're not going to live a year. You're not going to live 1 year more if you don't get this surgery. He goes, what the fuck do I care? I wasn't meant to stay here. Now, this is a guy that didn't believe in Jesus. He didn't believe in Muhammad. He didn't believe in an ever and after. And then you have people that do believe in these things, and it's like, you know, hey, you're going to die. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You know, it's like, well, wait a minute. Aren't you about to go live in glory, you know, next to God? And, you know, why don't you want to die? You're about to go and be in. He didn't believe in any of this stuff. And he was like, so fucking what? I'm going to die anyway. I wasn't meant to stay here. So I'm like, so one day, I get a call. I'm at work, and I could hear them. Like, you know, they call me, and I'm coming to the phone. I could hear them yelling. My dad going off at the hospital. And he's like, come pick me up right now. You know, and I'm thinking, well, Dad, you got to be discharged. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'm getting out of it. You know, he's just going off. And he could finally, you know, I get to the hospital. There's blood all over the sheets. And where he snatched the IV out.
Oh, okay.
Well, he thought that they were going to give him the procedure while he was asleep. Yeah. You know, he's like, all right, that shit ain't happening to me. I know what you do. And And I remember I sat next to him on the bed. And I said, you know, Daddy, I said, what if I can tell you about it? He goes, go ahead and tell me about the procedure, son. I said, all right. He goes, well, let me ask you a question. He goes, have you ever had the procedure? And I'm like, no, sir. He goes, so what do you got to tell me about it? You know? So they were like, well, you know, it's only 1 in 3,000 or 1 in 30,000 people. He goes, I could be that 30,000. He goes, I don't know. So I said, well, Daddy, I go, there's nothing wrong with you. I go, you ride your bicycle 10 miles a day with weights on it. No joke. He used to have weights on his bike. Like he had an extra 20, 30 pounds of weight.
Wow.
Literally weights on his bike. Because he thought people would steal it. And
I
it was extra heavy.
I thought he was doing it on purpose, like just for the workout.
No, it wasn't a workout. It was like
because
it was like if it was so heavy, nobody would want it. You know. So he goes in. I said, well, Daddy, you know, what if this saved your life? He goes, what if it took my life? He goes, what if I got on that table and I didn't wake up? What do you say to that? Like, what do you say to that? What he's made peace with, hey, this is the way I'm going to go out if I go out, and I'm fine with it. So what else can I say to that? All right, Daddy, that's fine. You know? And he ended up, I think, it was like a year and a half later, we found him dead in his house, his apartment. But, you know, he was in front of his TV watching Austin Powers or something like that, and, you know, had his little, you know, he went out on his own term. And, I mean, I have to respect the person like that. Because he didn't know what was going on after this and this, that. He wasn't afraid. Now, I don't know what he did behind closed doors, but, you know, he never exhumed being afraid or showed it in front of us. And like I said, I respect that. I'm just hoping that I have, you know, that kind of moxie. staring down that barrel, man. Like, oh, this is it? This is it?
That's all you got? That's all you got.
So yeah, it was cool, man. It's interesting life. I've led an interesting life so far.
I remember I wasn't here for when my grandpa died. On a cruise ship. The thing that made me realize I should be taking. One of the reasons why I started working towards working for myself and becoming independent because my grandpa did the same thing. He wasn't. Well, I was told like he wasn't very that literate, but he was very good with numbers. Like my grandmother, who's got a master's degree in teaching, she said like he actually believed that he could have got an MBA. Maybe not because he's Puerto Rican. Maybe not because of the English language, but he was very, very. He could just do like complex math in his head, especially when it comes to sales and inventory. But when they retired, they came out here, and he didn't really have that much of a life. And I felt sad for him. I tried to take him places and took him to the shooting range. But I remember one time I was in college, but before he died, he had a bad heart attack, and he was in the Mayo Clinic, and my grandma was panicking, and I had to calm people down, and he kept saying, I don't want to die. There's a lot of things I want to do. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a good life-changing event for him. And he said, I want to go on a cruise. I want to do this. And before I went back to college, I got him a book, like a cruise ship book, like one of these books, like different pictures, like, oh, this is stuff you could do. And 10 years later, he didn't do any of it.
Yeah.
Just went back home, watched this TV, fed the ducks, and that was it.
Yeah. You know, it's almost like, I don't know, being pulled over by a cop or something.
Yeah.
Don't take me to jail. I promise I won't drink anymore. And it's that unknowing. I've never been to jail.
Yeah.
I haven't. I've never been to jail, so I don't know what jail is like. I don't want to go.
No.
From the stories that I've heard, I don't want to go to jail. But and that's just like it too. I think with people, I talked to a guy that was in Vietnam. He was one of the first black Navy SEALs in Vietnam.
Yeah,
I love this dude. He was a captain. I've got to go back and see him. And he was telling us, he goes, you don't feel, he would always say, you've never felt so alive until you've been close to death. And I'm like, wow, that's when you think about it, he's like, you hear things you don't hear, you smell things you've let go for granted. He goes, there were times when the MREs or rations, they would taste the best, when they would just try to gobble them down, before they're going into a fight. Like, man, this creamy cracker, whatever it was, is pretty tasty.
This shit tastes pretty good now.
And he goes, he always had to say, in order to live, you've got to kiss death. He goes, you don't have to, French kiss her. You just have to give her a peck.
Yeah.
Like, screw that. That's great. I'm good. But I understand what he's saying. And I think maybe my kiss was death was my mom, because I never thought, I've wanted to, but I never thought I could leave the country. I never thought that I could live in another country or live in another state, or it just never did anything. And then when my brother drove trucks, and my mom had this fascination with driving a semi, and she never did. Why? She had the opportunity and the ability to do it, but she never did it. He drove them, So that's those are the things that, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, there's that opportunity right here. And even if you didn't drive it, you were just in it. Why didn't you do it? I don't know. Sometimes maybe the fantasy, I guess, is better than the reality.
I think most people, I don't want to say most people around the world, but I think in most Western type of countries, it's just the fear. Like, I think it's mainly the fear of failure.
Mm-hmm.
The fear of just failing or making a mistake. Or just standing out, too.
Yeah.
Saying that you want to do something, that you're going outside the normal bubble, your normal social bubbles and stuff, and you might get looked down upon, or people might not accept or may understand what you're doing, but...
What do you want to do that for?
Yeah.
I got that a lot. You got a job, you're making good money, you have a nice apartment, you got a nice car, you're doing that for? Mm-hmm. Who do you know in nobody? Who do you know in Canada? No one. Who do you know in Europe? Nobody. So why are you doing it? And a lot of times is that a lot of people, they have their own fear, and they want to project it, because now they'll look at it and they'll say, well, he did it. Why can't I do it?
Yeah.
And, if he could do that.
It usually just takes one.
Right.
It takes one person.
And a lot of people, they'll go, well, I've done it. There's nothing there to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what? I want to go see it. Well, I'm telling you, it's no thing. Like one guy, he goes, I've been to New York, I've been to New Jersey, I've been to this place, I've been to that place. It's all the same thing, right? And I go, where'd you go in this place? He named this one area. Where'd you go in that place? I said, those are all hoods. I did. I said, what happens to me, I think, is that when you look for a place that reminds you of home, that's when everything's the same.
Yeah.
And Well, that's not true. Well, okay, I mean, go find a hood in Missouri, or I mean, Thailand had hoods. Don't get me wrong.
Well, every place got a hood.
Every place has its, every place has it. But you look. I want to live outside. I want to see something outside of what I could just stay home and have a McDonald's. I mean, I've caught my own fish. I've wrung my own chicken's neck. We've shot goats and ate them and things like that. That's what you want to go and experience. You want to experience that. I mean, and then you deal with the thumb-sized mosquitoes. That's, there's a swap off. Everything there's a swap off on.
Yeah.
But, the squeeze, is the squeeze worth the juice? Yeah, go ahead and do it. Do it.
And like one of the things when you talk about that, it reminds me of the original Star Trek. Mm-hmm. I was watching a YouTube video of one of the clips, and Captain Kirk was talking about risk.
Sure.
And so, because Dr. McCoy brought up, it's like, hey, this is dangerous. This could cost us a lot. This could cost us lives. But then he also said too, the opposite side of that is too. It's like the risk might be worth it because we might gain so much knowledge from this. We might gain a new frontier from this.
Yeah.
And this is what our business is. Our business is risk.
And man, and that's where, and I've made like a lot of white-black jokes. I mean, I'm a huge, I'm a huge student of Mr. Neely Fuller, Francis Welsing, Malcolm X. I'm huge students of those guys. And, I am a person like, I love Mr. Neely Fuller. And he goes, there's only two people in this world. He goes, you're white or you're non-white. He goes, everything else is done. You're either white or you're non-white. Doesn't matter, And he goes, and when you look at it, even in school, coming up, you always saw like what you just said. White people are people that are like, I don't know what the hell's on the other side of that ocean, but I'm going to go see. You know what I mean? Like all other people are sort of like, I'm happy. You know what I mean? I've got everything I need here. Who cares what's how do I know that there's a thing that these people have that it's nothing for them to say, I wonder what's underneath it. I want to see how deep I can dig a hole.
Yeah.
And what I can find. You know what I mean? Like who does it? Like even me, I'm thinking, hell, the grass grows. I dig about a foot down. And I'm good,
Some soil. Some dirt.
Yeah, I'm like, there's a worm. Oh, look, there's something I don't think I want to see again. Let me go ahead and cover that up. I shouldn't have bothered him. The flip side of that is, like what you said also, is that, though, it's nothing wrong with venturing, but when you want to bend the will of people, that you venture upon. Funny, I was watching something with my dad one day, and like I said, my dad was a real sharp dude.
Yeah.
Real, he was a sharecropper coming up, so he's seen it. Yeah, his dad was a slave. Granddad was a slave. And so he's usually sharp as a whip.
Yeah.
But we're watching something along the lines of Star Trek or something. I can't remember what the show was.
Yeah.
Anyway, they got these guys. Man, I can't remember what it was. It was like a Stargate.
Oh, Stargate.
Stargate, right? So they got these guys, this guy's in, we're going to go in and we're going to put in the coordinates of this, that, and the other, and, he's talking all that stuff. They got all these guns and shit like that. And so I remember looking at my dad. I might have been just entering my teenage years. I looked at my dad, we're watching it. I said, Daddy, why are they taking guns into like another, dimension, another portal, this, that, and the other? And he goes, well, son, the people that, and I wasn't expecting this from my dad, you know. And he goes, well, son, the people might be hostile, treat them differently when they get there. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, Daddy, if some people just appeared in the living room right now, would we be hostile? He sort of scratched his head or whatnot. Look. I go, isn't it the job of the people that are entering the other people's domain for them to be extremely nice? Because,
Yeah.
That's a goddamn good one, son. But, like I said, when I went to Thailand, there were things I saw like, really? But who am I to say it was wrong? Like if you got into an accident, they would say, no joking, if you were driving down the street and the light was red on their end and you had the green light, if they ran the light, right, and you hit them or they hit you, didn't matter. You were equally as wrong. And the logic behind it was, if you were not in our country, this accident would not have happened. Now you're thinking it's crazy, right? Right. But listen, and it sounds crazy. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? Even I. But is that true or false? Was that true or false? If you were not there, if you were home where in America, would this accident have happened? No. So you were equally as wrong. And they told you in this booklet, we will never side against a Thai with a farang, which is a foreigner. Now there's different. Like if they just walked up and murdered you, they'd still go, well, if you weren't here, you wouldn't be murdered. Yeah. But it was like, yeah, that was wrong. But you should have, you should have been over here in this area. You had no business over there.
Well, it's kind of like the same things. If you say it back, like, well, if your dad jerked off and started having sex with your mom, then you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, right.
It's the same concept.
Right. It is like, hey, is it true or false? You know what I mean?
It's true, right?
Yeah. Or you can look at it as, hey, your dad jerked off that one time that got you here.
The one time he said no.
It got you here, So, I mean, man, to me, it's you go somewhere and it's like, anywhere I've ever gone, I don't want to change people. I don't want to go to a country like when people say, like I've been to like certain places in Alabama, and yeah. So and I can't remember if it was Alabama, Missouri, one of those places that still had the don't let the sun go down on your black ass thing. The issue that I have with that is when people say, well, you say you don't want to change people. Well, there's one thing when you say that you have a right to this, and this place is equal to everyone. Now, if I go to China or someplace and they go, we don't like this, and we're going to let you know we don't like this, and we're going to let you know because we're going to tell you we're not going to disguise it and dress it up, and we don't like X. Well, when you go there, that's what you expect. A friend of mine, she was a nurse. Mm-hmm. She went to Saudi Arabia as she was a traveling nurse. Oh, wow. And she came in. This isn't the U.S. This isn't, any part of the U.S. Mm-hmm. Well, you got freedom of religion here. Well, we'll leave that alone for a second, right? We'll leave that alone. But she went to Saudi, and she had her star that she got from her nursing academy. It's like a Star of Life. Uh-huh. But it looks like a cross. They're like, you're not getting off the plane with that. You can throw that in the garbage. And she goes, hey, I got this from graduation. I don't give a fuck where you get it from. You're not getting off the plane with that crap on. So you can throw it in the garbage now, or you can just stay on this plane and go back to where you came from. And she's like, well, I'm here to help people. We didn't ask you for your help. You volunteered to come over here. We didn't ask you to come. And she couldn't wrap her mind around that concept. Mm-hmm. And I go, was he lying? Did they send for you, or did you choose to go? She said, well, I choose to go. There you go. So you got to dance to their music. When in Rome.
Well, my thing is about that, if she was volunteered, someone was asking for her help, and she volunteered.
No, she just goes, I just think I want to be a traveling nurse.
Oh, so she just like, I'm going over there, and she just like all the hire, like, hey, to have a slot open. Okay, never mind. Yeah. But yeah, she should have known, like that's the country. It's not like you're going to England or France.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, no, that's that's their rules.
They're like, no. Yeah. And she was like, there would be religious police during they had that in Thailand too. Like there was a huge Islamic population there, and you could be in a shop, and during prayer time, boom, everything stops. Nobody, if you were not Muslim, yeah, you could still walk around. Mm-hmm. But if you were, Muslim, no, they were very strict on that. They like I said, during prayer time, they would just like everything stop. You could be in the middle of ringing something out. Okay, that'll be. Oh, sorry, hold on, and they go into that. And people would get upset. What are you upset for? You came here. They didn't go there. They didn't come in your backyard and do this. I said, you're here. Why are you upset? Deal with it. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing with people is that, again, and that's the beautiful part about, I guess, myself, is I don't want everything to be like home. Because why am I leaving home?
Yeah. It's one thing I don't like about, no, I love traveling, but the one thing I don't like is like going to the tourist areas.
Right.
Because a lot of times those are becoming very generic, especially in the ports in the Caribbean. It's like, you get, like I said, it starts getting generic. They have, what's that restaurant called? Uncle Toad's or Froggy's, something like that. Oh, Senior Frogs. And it's like almost every port you go to. And it's just some generic, like, bar and restaurant. It's not even good.
Yeah, just to make you feel more at home. But that's not what you left for.
Yeah, no.
You didn't leave to feel at home.
Yeah, I want, like, nice restaurants, but I want restaurants that are local. Like, actual, local food. And
Sure. You want to see it cooked right out there, chop the head off the goose and throw it on. I've seen that. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I've seen them cook boil it and, roast it right there, head and all. I'm like, man, I mean, with the head. But that's how it is, man. I've seen them, me personally, I believe, this is just me, though. I mean, you walk up to a goat or whatever, you shoot it in the ear, drop it. They'll cut the throat, and the thing's sitting there bagging and, gagging. To me, it's sad. You're like, oh, man, but this is, hey, how much money you got for a 22 round? I mean, we don't even have 22 rounds over here. And these are things that you've got to think about, too. I mean, I just shot him in the, I don't know, a box of 22 is going to run. Let's say over there, right?
$5 maybe.
Whatever, right? But this knife, I just zip. I can just, you know what I'm saying? And I get it, I mean, I don't want to make the animal suffer, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've cutting the throat of it, and like I said, watching. Or they have fun out of it. They'd wring a chicken's neck, and they say, "Oh, look." I mean, I've seen people do that here, so that's not the big thing there. But yeah, the chicken's head is just flopping. They're just running around. Just let it out. Again, if I'm over there, then that's what they do. Okay. Who am I to go? Well, a more humane way.
Like
a more humane way to kill something.
Then they're like, "You want to eat tonight or what?"
Shut up. To eat you tonight? Yeah. But like I said, I think more people should travel.
Yeah.
I believe that, and I said that if I ever became a something, part of the curriculum of a child is to travel to 2 different countries. So that you can get out of the mindset that I'm better than those people. I'm better than that people.
Yeah.
And holy crap, they eat like me, they crap like me, they breathe like me. We only speak differently. If I'm cold, I want to get warm. If I'm too hot, I want to be cooled down. If I'm hungry, I want to eat. Those are all the fundamental things that humans need. So why are we so different? Well, I don't know, because of this. Well, not really. I've never been over there, but these people are savages. Well, what's that? I don't know. My grandpa, when he was over there, that was World War II. You know what I mean? That was Vietnam. I mean, was he over there? And I'm not talking military where they tell you where to go. You go, hey, you're going to go here. You're going to experience this. If you go over there and you do something stupid, then that's your ass. But, we're going to give you a book saying that going here means that you adhere to these rules. And now you have to adhere. Now you go over there and you don't adhere to those rules, and that's on you. We have to learn to respect boundaries and whatever. But I think that's the biggest thing. It's a huge gap. I've had people that'll say, "Man, Moncrief is the hood." When's the last time you've been to Moncrief? Right? I'm serious. I'll say, "When's the last time you've been to Moncrief?" "Oh, I've never been." Well, how do you know? How do you know? I heard Yulee is like banjo playing. No, there are nice houses in Yulee. Oh, same thing, right? So, and I think that's what happens with people. They don't. I don't want to know anything different. If my granddaddy said that's what it was, why would he lie to me?
Yeah, I remember. New York. My other grandmother. She was married to this man. His name was Angelo, and I remember like him as a kid. Because I told him I love to travel, and He said he didn't do anything with his life. He was living off of welfare and drinks every day. He would go. He said, why should I go outside the city when I could just go to the stoop, sit on the stoop? That's all I need.
That's it. Yeah.
It's like it was like a sad life. Like, man, you didn't really accomplish anything. You just
he didn't in the grand scheme of thing of our life, but he did in this. Remember making the appointments of being where they are.
Yeah.
It's like when people say, I had a friend of mine go, you know, it's real sad that this lady can fit her whole life in a bag. Like, she can fit her whole life in a bag. And I go, why is that sad, though? He goes, think about it. What does she have? I go, what do you have, though? You've got a house. You've got 4 cars. You've got land. You've got, a machine shop. You've got all this stuff, right? He's like, yeah. I go, if a hurricane came today and you had to evacuate, you've got like 150, 200 guns, right? If you had to evacuate today, what do you do? I go, her, it's in a bag. So that's why I say there's no good or bad. There's really like the right or wrong. It's just, do I want to live the life on the stoop? Probably not.
No.
Some people, it's probably that they did live life on the stoop because imagine the misery that they would put upon people by traveling.
Yeah.
You know, the constant negative, this, what is this? And you're like, oh, man. You ever go on a trip with somebody and you go, this will never happen again? You know what I'm saying? So some people, even though you're like, man, there's so much of the world to see. Why don't you want to see it? Because I don't want to see it. Okay.
Yeah, that's their choice.
Yeah.
But
don't try to tell me how good or bad the world is. It's only from your little porch.
Yeah, but like a lot of times that's just how I fear. Like this
Sure.
person that they're afraid of. They're actually afraid of themselves. They know like their worth is not.
Sure.
Then they made anything out of themselves.
Sure.
That's it. Like, oh, I'm gonna get drunk today.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the best drunker in the neighborhood. I mean, it's just like when something as simple as this. We train at an academy. And there are guys like, you know, if there was a while, you would just pounce me. Bam! If I was ready or not, right? You were taking a chance, not knowing if you could tap me or not. You were just doing it. Why? Because I want to do it. If I tap him, great. If I don't, it wasn't expected. He's supposed to be better than me. But I'm going to give him everything I've got. There are guys in the school that won't even look at me. Hey, you want to roll? No, thank you. Why? You're too heavy. You know what I mean? It's like I can whip everybody over here in the 135-pound division, but you know I'm not going to go 200 and over. And I'm not bad anymore. I'm not tough anymore. I have to continue to stay tough in my world. Yeah. Once I step out of my world, and I know that and that's the whole thing is that you have to step outside of your world and find out who you really are. You know, when in the neighborhood, a lot of these kids, you know, you're a tough guy whipping up on, you know, bums, you know, guys that don't do anything. But let's take you to a school where people actually fight. Well, I ain't gonna do that. Why not? Got time for that. You know, that's just gay. I throw hands. You know, have no man between my legs grinding on me.
you know, I don't want a guy on top of me.
Yeah, well, we got guys that box there too. Well, I ain't got time for that, man. That's sports. I'm a street fighter. You know.
That's
all right, you know that's fine, man. But that's all it is. And when you have to. When I start to grow as an individual and look at people, I just start asking questions now. I don't even try to like right or wrong. Somebody walked up and go, I don't know, I eat pavement. Like, well, why? You know, who am I to say that it's right or wrong? I can't be like, man, you're stupid. That's going to mess up your insides and this, that, and the other. I'm going to be like, well, why do you eat pavement? How long have you ate it? I've been eating it for 10 years now. 10 years. You're still walking.
Still walking?
So
how much do you eat?
Right. So, you know, you start everything off with a question. That's it. It's everything, no matter what it is, no matter how stupid it sounds. Why? Because, you know, I don't know. I remember we grew up eating mayonnaise and jelly, right? People are like, that's fucking nasty. Have you ever eaten it? No. How do you know it's nasty?
I remember my little cousin as a kid, he wanted a mayonnaise sandwich.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell? I almost threw up. I was making for him. Like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah, and it's like, well, why not? Why is that bad? You know what I mean? And it's, syrup sandwiches. You said people like syrup sandwiches. What the hell is that? Sugar water.
Sugar water. Sugar water from a tree.
But again, man, you'll find out that a lot of stuff is like, it's like, sugar water. You drink sugar water, but your mom smokes cocaine. But sugar water snorting cocaine. You're telling me this? You know what I mean? Like I've seen that kind of stuff before. I mean, I was Jeff Davis as a kid. I can't remember what it was. We grew up eating organ meat. Like as kids, we weren't rich kids. Mm-hmm. My family wasn't rich, and we'd eat stuff like I didn't like chitlins. I never ate a chitlin in my life. We eat hog head cheese, pig ears, pig snouts, knuckles, and crap like that. One day, and like I said, the organ meat, we would eat like chicken livers, chicken heart livers and things like that. Well, one day I brought in some gizzards. And his name was Jimmy, and he goes, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like, "Chicken gizzards. My dad fried them last night." He's like, "What the hell?" He takes a bite. He goes, "That is fucking nasty." As he pops an acid tab. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
he pop. It's like, oh shit.
It's like, how do you? It's. And as you get older, you just look at things and wink on it. You don't even get bent out of shape anymore. You drive a Ford compared to a Chevy, does it start up and go?
It's like like it works. That's what matters. Like it works.
I wouldn't get caught dead in a Chevy. All right, Again, man, I think as humans, though, I think that we have to. It's in our DNA to be in opposition. I do. I think it's what do we do to sports? We do. We got to know we're better than the next guy. We can water it down as for self-defense. Yeah, I need to know that if this guy grabs me, I can pummel him. Why do we go to competitions? To know that we're better than the next guy. That's what we do. Why do we have Olympics? If you look at the Olympics, right, people don't realize the Olympics is basically survival games until you start that one stupid game with the broom with the ice. I don't know what that's all about. But you talk about boxing, wrestling, archery, shooting, swimming, track and field. These are things that you did to survive, and the countries came up and said, "Hey, we want to let you know our country's as good as your country." That's just the way. Basically, it's war without anybody dying. So why can't that always be? Hey, we're going to have a, javelin throwing match. All right, well, you guys got that extra 5 feet. You guys get this oil field. You can have it.
Get the extra 5.
But, that's for another date on that kind of stuff. But
all right, we're almost an hour and a half in, so we're going to go to the question part. Like I said, if you don't feel comfortable, like some of these questions are fun questions, and some of these get deeper questions. But if we don't want to answer it, then you don't have to answer it.
Okay.
Given the choice of anyone in the world from any time period, who would you want as a dinner guest and why?
Man, that's a deep one. Is it just one?
Just name them if you want multiple.
I think I would. Malcolm X would have to be one.
Yeah.
Shaka Zulu. Yeah, he would be another one. And the reason these men were very intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Malcolm X was really intelligent.
Very intelligent, and they were so intelligent that people tried to demonize them. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't their words, because I believe that words are tools.
Yeah. And
they can build or destroy things. And I was actually reading the novel once of Shaka Zulu, and I was very intelligent for the tribal person of who he was supposed to have been. Mm-hmm. When anytime you see tribe, you see climbing trees, running around, but they're the people. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're I don't need a suit. My outfit, excuse me, are these teeth around my neck. Ask me how I got them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I got
I've got these claws around my neck. These are lion claws. How'd you get those around your neck? Yeah, I killed a lion. With what? A spear. So yeah, those guys. Like I said, I think those would be on my top 2 list. And Mr. Neely Fuller too. He would be, my top 3 people would be on it. Very intelligent men. very, very well-rounded. Not just normal intelligence, just not educated intelligence.
No, there's different types of intelligence.
Yeah. Well, to me, I said education is the ability to regurgitate something you've been taught. Mm-hmm. Intelligence is the ability to sift through the bullshit of what you've been taught. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember one of my teachers back in college, he said, like, so the point in college, and this is what it's supposed to be, it's like you're not supposed to be memorizing shit. Right. He said, like, what you're supposed to do is reading stuff, understanding it, then using that information to solve something. Right. Or just using it to make something abstract out of it. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it should be like that. A lot of times you go to school and it's just, all right, memorize this.
Well, we understand that, but for testing purposes, this was going to be the answer.
I hate the testing. All right. What's next? What would you constitute a perfect day for you?
Not getting killed by the police. I mean, honestly, man. I mean, it's we laugh about it, but that's I don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't believe in good days or bad days and stuff like that. It's comfort and discomfort, but there's that fear, man, of being pulled over and like him having a bad day, and just like, hey, step out of the car. Jesus, fuck, this guy's big. That's happened to me. So honestly, that's it. I mean, I can give you this long loving family, and I got all of that. That's all it is. I just don't want to. I don't want my life taken by frivolously. You know what I mean? I don't have anything else. I don't have a fear of anything. I can walk in any hood. It doesn't bother me. I don't want to conduct myself there. Shut up. Respect these people. Like, you're not going to be bothered. But, my fear is I'm on the road. Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot to turn my blinker on. Whoop, whoop. There it is. 187. I'm stretched out. I don't want that. That's it.
How many times have that happened to you?
I've actually had it several times. I had a cop pull me over one time, and he goes, "Your windows were too dark." He didn't even tell me why.
Oh yeah, that tent shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like that. Number one, you didn't put the meter. Yeah, nothing. You just said it's too dark. Well, how can I argue with you? It's whatever it is. I'm a prisoner here, so whatever. Okay, it's too dark. Sorry. And he goes back and runs my lights. He comes back. He's like, "Hey, you got any weapons in this car?" So I'll pull out my concealed weapons permit. That's supposed to be the end of the transaction. Mm-hmm. I mean, either you're going to give me a ticket or you're not going to give me a ticket. So he goes, pulls his gun out. He goes, "Where is it?" I go, "I've got one on my hip, one in the..." "Why?" "I'm sorry." He goes, "Why?" I'm like, "Why what? Why do you have a gun on you?" "I think I have a concealed weapons permit." He goes, "You know what pisses me this is how he's talking to him. You know what pisses me the fuck off? Is when I walk up to people's vehicle and they don't fucking tell me they've got a gun in the car." That's how he's talking to me.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't ask. I shouldn't have to ask. You should have told me. So I just stopped talking at that point because nothing I can say. Now there's a gun in the car. He knows there's a gun in the car. Several guns. He could just shoot me dead and say, "Oh, he was reaching for something. Oh, see, that's what he was reaching for." It's things like that. I mean, why? Why do you have to be like that? Why do you have to be, you have the ability to make or break somebody's day with a stroke of a pen.
And the thing is, like, when I was a cop, there were times when I pulled someone over and that was the case, like there was a gun in the car. But, like, it's kind of like the same situation, but I think it just depends on the cop, too. Because sometimes you just got to be polite about, like, you do have a concealed weapons permit. Just not...
Sure, like, you went through the passages to get the gun correctly.
Sometimes cops do want to know there's a gun in the car. Just voluntarily tell them. Sure. Because it's scary. It's scary doing a traffic stop. It's very dangerous for a cop. But he could have handled it a lot differently, a lot better. I remember one time doing it, just telling the person, "All right, just in the future, just tell them like, hey, keep your hands on the steering wheel the whole time, so the cop doesn't freak out. Just keep it on the wheels. Like, hey, I have a gun in the car. I have my permit. Just tell me what you want to do, officer." Yeah. Yeah. Then you get the other cops. It's just like, "Oh, fuck you."
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, no, I'm not playing that game. Well, I saw him again at the shop I used to work, and I said, "You were wrong." And he looked at me. He goes, "I'm sorry." I said, "You pulled me over like a week or so ago." He goes, "Man, I pull a lot of people over." I said, green blazer, too dark tint. You hammered me about. He's, oh man, yeah, I remember you. He's like, man, he's like, I don't like to be stereotyped. What do you mean? He's like, I don't like to be stereotyped because you didn't want to tell me you had a gun in the car because I said, no, I didn't want to tell you I had a gun in the car because you didn't ask. He goes, well, you have to. I said, I don't have to tell you. He goes, yeah, you do. I said, no, I don't. I go, what amendment? I go, that protects me under not. He goes, okay, the Fifth Amendment. I said, right. I go, let's go to this. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I said, but how many people have you drove up to and that was like literally told you, hey, cop, I've got I just want to let you know, let's get this out in the open. I've got a kilo of cocaine in the trunk. You know what I mean? Who says that? Right. And he starts laughing. He goes, no. He goes, well, I'll tell you. He's like, I was having a bad day that day. It doesn't matter. You're the professional. And I didn't beat him up about it, but you're the professional. You have the ability to...
Yeah, keep it in check.
Yes. You have the ability to end someone's life at any time. You have the ability to end my career. Because if you got pissed with me and you threw me in jail and you threw some BS bogus, my job may not hire me back. You see what I mean? At the stroke of a pen, you could So why are you so angry? Well, it pisses me off when people speed. Okay, you pull them over and give them a ticket. Why are you so angry? Because I see people get killed and speed. Okay, well, so do I. And I've known people that have gotten killed with speed, but I still see people speeding every day. What do we do about it? I mean, you are the professional, And he's like, yeah. He's like, you got some good points. He's like, I just like to know that, if someone's got a gun in the car or not. And I was going to get into it, but why do you want to know? Well, and I know it's going to be for my safety and this, and I get that, but 9 times out of 10, if you ran my license, I've got nothing on my license, I don't have a felony, I don't have a warrant. Using a gun on you is the furthest thing away from my mind. Now, if you come back, this guy's been locked up 7 times for assaulting. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go back and, I'm going to handle this a little differently. I'm going to...
Well, I remember there was one time when I met this guy on 2 separate occasions. I arrested him the second time. The first time, it was this black guy. He was pretty muscular, but he was shorter than me, so he's like 5'5", 5'6". I was working off duty at a hotel, and I went outside just to get some air. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and he comes walking down the street, and he has a badge around his neck. I'm looking, I'm like, he's not a cop. So I tell him, like, hey, buddy, come over here. It's like, you can't be walking around with that badge out because and I look closer, it was one of those the bouncer badges.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's security, it just says security on it.
Sure.
I'm like, hey, this thing, people are going to mistake you for a cop. He's like, well, I have my credentials. And he starts getting all wild and shit.
Yeah.
And I tell him, like, hey, I'm just telling you how it is. You can't be walking around the streets like that. And then, he did something stupid. He saw walking away from me while I was talking to him. I'm like, no, you're not leaving now. Because, now at this point, I got to figure out if he actually did a crime now. Because now you walk around with that freaking badge on your neck. He quickly turned around and reached into his jacket, and I pulled out my gun. He spun pretty fast. It scared me. Like, oh, shit. So as soon as he spun around, I pulled my gun. And I was about to shoot him, and it turned out he was just taking out his freaking cell phone.
Yeah.
And
look at what you just said. It scared me.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with people, is that everybody reacts to fear differently.
Yeah, but the thing is that in a police situation, it's like, hey, that's been known to happen. And a lot of cops get shot because of that. And I told them, like, hey, this is what's going on. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm being polite to you the whole time, and you're doing something that's very suspicious, like you're walking down the street with a badge around your neck.
Yeah.
You're doing something suspicious. Well, anyway, a month later, me and my friend were working downtown in police capacity, and there's this bar in Savannah that has a downstairs. You go downstairs, like it goes below the ground level, and they got 2 exits, and one of the exits, these guys started fighting downstairs, and their girlfriends started breaking up. So me and my friend, we walked down there to actually break it up, and he's down there by himself, and I hear somebody coming behind me, and turns out it was the guy, it was the bouncer, and I stopped him because I'm like, yo, go back upstairs. It's like, no, man, I got this. This is my area. I'm like, no. Go upstairs. Yeah. And he kept trying to force his way behind me. I'm like, yo, you're not a cop. Get out of here. And at some point, I just arrested him. Like, no, that's it. You're going to jail. Right. Because now you're interfering with police, police business. And my partner's downstairs, and he could get his ass kicked while I'm down trying to deal with you.
Right.
So I arrested him, and because the first encounter I had with him, I knew he was a felon. And this guy was very delusional. I could tell this guy was freaking delusional. Yeah. And he said, like, oh, man, I'm going to become a cop. I'm going to become a cop. Like, and I told him straight, like, listen, you'll never become a cop because you got the felonies. And I was just being blunt.
Right.
Then next week, he goes to the internal affairs and says I was a racist. He tells me, like, oh, you did that because I was black. And I'm like, no, what part? Like, knowing what you did was nothing because you're a black man. It's just like you're a freaking idiot.
Yeah.
You went to jail because you're an idiot. Yeah. That was it.
I think badges are stupid. I know a couple guys that have concealed weapons permits. And the dumbest thing I've ever seen is a concealed weapons badge.
No, that's
like what do you do? Like we used to have a guy that used to come into this shop. He always wore it on like his pant. And I said, hey man, I meant to ask you. I said, are you like a detective or anything like that? Oh no, I'm not a detective or anything. He's got like the 5'11" pants and the shirts and
wannabe guy.
Yeah, and he goes, well no, that's my concealed weapons permit badge. And I'm thinking, well, doesn't conceal mean tucked away? Well, yeah. Well, I just want to know. I want law enforcement and anyone else to know that. Right, but so I'm like, but that gives away the thing that you've got a gun because it's supposed to be concealed. Well, yeah. I mean, but just in case, if I have to help out law enforcement, they know that I'm carrying. All right. Again, you just walk off. You just say, okay, and you walk off.
No,
whatever.
I remember when a shooting happened in Las Vegas. There was that. I'm not sure if you ever heard of this guy. This guy, like he's like the most famous guy on Instagram. His name is Dan Blazer. He was in the Navy and he tried out for the Navy SEALs, didn't get in, but now he's a famous poker star and he's known for like hanging out with supermodels and that's how he kind of developed his own business. But he's always thrown around like talking like, oh yeah, like if I'm in a situation I want to have a gun, I'm going to do something. And he also has pictures of guns and stuff. He was at that shooting, and this guy had the fucking nerve to start recording himself. He starts running. He said, "Oh, some girl just got shot, but I'm gonna keep running." I'm like, dude, I know veterans who are in the military who will fucking stop what they're doing and help that fucking woman instead of videotaping them. Yeah. Then he recorded himself again. This is when the police showed up, and the cops came up there with the rifles and the guns. They're staging up, getting cover. And he comes up to the cops like, "Hey, give me a gun. I have a concealed bias lesson." And the cops like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, man. I know. I've seen them. It's like, stop. You look stupid right now. But I don't know. I've seen them. Yeah, no, I deal with it all the time. I worked at a gun shop.
Yeah, it's just posturing. It's like they're trying to.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to show off their if they're. Those guys, like, only reason I will be afraid of them because they're stupid. Like,
sure.
They'll hurt someone else. Stupid.
Of course they will. I used to work at a gun shop. This one guy, every time a cop comes, I've got your 6. Cop look back at him. What the fuck are you talking about?
You don't.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You'll make it worse.
I got my 6. You'll shoot me, shooting bastard. I mean, I used to always ask him, like, what? Why don't you just become a cop? Oh, you can't because you're fat. And you got bad feet and bad ankles. I'm like...
There's always an excuse.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's always... This guy never had a real job a day in his life. He's like, I suffer from... I forgot what it was. But if he gets too hot, he could die. Like, we call it pansyism.
Wow. If it gets 200 degrees, we're all going to die.
I was... I went to... I was in boot camp. But I had to leave because I had a lot of problems. Things.
I think my dad, I'm not close to my dad, but I think he did that. I think he was in the Army for only 3 months.
Wow. Well, I'm not touching that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he's a piece of shit anyway. Like, okay. If you reach the age of 100 and have the choice of retaining the mind of a 30-year-old or the body for the last 60 years of your life, which one would you want?
Man, well, okay.
So
If I live to be 100.
So you either have the mind of a 30-year-old, or you have the body for the last 60 years of your life.
Fuck that. I think I'd rather the mind. This body hurts a lot. I mean, if I had the mind, that's a tough one because
it's like weird because you can't have one out without the other.
Right. I mean, you can have the mind, right? But then what's the stuff you really want to remember? Like people that died and people you loved. And man, I was able to run 10 miles and, look at me now, decrepit. I mean, having the body, is it like a body without pain, or is it the body just whatever you got, because I'm 44 now, man. I feel like I'm 50, 60 sometimes with the aches. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'd have to go with the mind because body aches hurt. It's just the mind. Yeah.
Do you have a secret hunch on the way you'll die?
Do I have the secret hunch
on
the way I'm going to die? Yeah. I have a hunch that I'm going to die like dead.
This is gonna happen.
Yeah. It's gonna just be like he's dead. Jimmy's dead. No, I don't know. Doing something I like, I'm hoping that it's that's the way I want it. I don't want to die on a toilet. I don't want to die on a toilet.
I've been to a couple of those.
Yeah. See what you just did. And I'm dead, but man, this one guy, he's had a turd still sticking out. He's been there.
No, actually, none of them. All the people that I've been to that died on the toilet were not on the toilet. Basically, I think they got up and then they died. So everything was flushed and so they're getting either going to the toilet or they're just getting off the toilet.
Wow. Okay.
So it was just weird. It's like, oh wow.
No.
Okay. If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's a good way of looking at it.
Nothing. I wouldn't be here right now with you if I could, if something was. No.
All right, I like this one. If you wake up tomorrow and gain any power or ability, what would it be and why?
Man, if I could, it would. The only way I could describe that is that Nas song, "If I Rule the World."
Oh yeah,
That would have to sum it up. If I had the ability to free all the people that were wrongly done, to free people that were being oppressed, to right the wrongs, that would be my power. That's the only way I could describe it. Flying and seeing through stuff. What the hell's that? I want a power that's massive. That if I walk into a place, you know what? Everybody's been wrong. I want out of here. Yes, sir, Mr. Nero. We're working on it. I don't want to have to fight. I don't want to have to be a great general and have tanks and having people get killed for the right reason for the wrong person. I don't want that. If my voice alone could do it, I think that's what I want. Yeah.
All right. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about?
Man, that what is anything that's too? It's I don't know because everything is so. Everything is like. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's one of those things to where don't joke about my mama.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. And I tell people all the time that my daddy could take care of himself, but don't joke. Two women in the world I don't ever mess with, and that's a man's mom and his wife.
Yeah.
So. I guess if I had to say those two things, that would probably be it. Don't talk about, when I get married, don't talk about my wife. Don't bother daughter, I guess. Joke about the daughter, that's okay.
She probably had it coming.
Yeah, right.
Okay, what if you could travel in time into the future or the past? Which will it be and why? So whatever, future's unknown, but you say the future, but for the past, what time period or?
Man. And I'm gonna have to say this. Oh, man. I damn sure don't want to go back in the past being black. Because there ain't shit that was ever been.
Depends what time period and what part of the world.
Yeah, name one.
Hannibal,
when he was going to war.
He's just kicking people's ass.
But I don't want want to go. I don't want to go to war.
He was black.
You
He
know,
was a black general.
Yeah, he was great, but I don't want to go to war. You know, I had enough of this shit already. I would have to say, man, what would it be? The future? I don't know, because if you look at the Jetsons, there aren't any black people in the Jetsons. There weren't any black people in the Flintstones.
Well, that was back in the freaking 40s. Those cartoons. Look at
I don't know.
Disney was a racist.
Yeah.
Did they have the first black cartoon character that happened to what? 2000 something?
Oh, the first Black Princess. Yeah.
No, not even that. The first black character they ever had was in the movie Atlantis, that cartoon Atlantis.
I didn't see that one.
It was actually a pretty cool cartoon.
Okay. The Lost City of Atlantis?
Yeah, Lost City of Atlantis. Okay. And they had the first black character. He was a doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was what took to 2000 or something. Oh yeah.
Well, there you go. What was it? 1940 something.
That's like.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a Hispanic princess. No, they bypassed Hispanic and went straight to Hawaii. It's like fuck Hispanics.
Hey, give it up for somebody. I don't know, man.
They already have Mulan, so they had the Asians.
Yeah, they had Mulan, yeah, and then they had Pocahontas.
So they had the Native Americans.
And then they had the first Black Princess.
I don't think Walt Disney liked Jews, so I don't think they had Jewish princess. What did they? No, they haven't done Hispanic yet.
Really?
I don't think. Well, Pixar came out with a Mexican movie, Coco. That looks actually pretty good.
You're right. They did.
But it's not.
He's like a bone or something.
Yeah, but he's not. That's not. That's part of Disney. Disney owns Pixar, but it's not like part of Disney.
So you want Disney's name stamped on that thing? I got you.
No.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of a Hispanic. No, they don't have a Hispanic princess. Wait. They have a Middle Eastern princess. Jasmine.
Jasmine. Yeah.
Almost a white chicks. They got undersea princess. Well, they have no Hispanic. They got the Middle Eastern princess. They got the Chinese,
right,
the black, but they don't have.
Yeah, they don't have a Hispanic one yet. Maybe they did. It just didn't make the big screen.
I'll probably turn on white, something like that. It's like, we'll turn on white. All right. When was the first time you fell in love, and how did it happen?
The first time I think I fell in love was with my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that to all the perverts out there, it was she never gave up on me. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I wasn't a good kid.
Yeah.
I had some issues, man. It was like found trouble. Like, you know how people say trouble found me. No, I was looking for trouble. It's like, and it was like, I don't know why, but yeah, I think that was it. My mom set an unfair premise for my dating life. Because, Freud, the opium addict, crack, whatever it was before the crack. He had I think he was an opioid, cocaine and all
No, I think it was just cocaine.
He was on something.
Yeah, I believe it was one of those two, cocaine or opioid.
Well, he symbolically, and I'm not talking about the Oedipus complex, which I never wanted my dad dead so I could be with my mom.
Yeah.
But the reality is that the son does marry the mother, and the daughter marries the father, or the father figure, or the mother figure, dependent. Because what happens is, as a child, you grow up seeing certain things, certain qualities that a great parent's going to have, or even a bad parent. Hey, why are you with this guy that that beats you and drags you? Oh, your dad did that. Oh, got it. But when I looked at my mom, very soft-spoken, very non-confrontational. Smart, she spoke what she knew. Made a man feel like, but my dad could be dead wrong about something. He could be like, no, Dino, it's 3 scoops. Oh, I'm putting 4 in there. No, it's only 3 scoops. Oh, I want to put 4. Yes, go ahead, sweetie. Go ahead and do what you do. And then you get in there and it tastes like a salt factory. It's like,
I want to put 4.
And my dad would go, yeah, kind of fucked up on that one. And then my mom would never be like, see, I told your dumb ass. She was never like that. She was like, well, we'll offset it with like a cake or something. And I think that's what I looked at. And it was just, very nurturing. She wasn't handicapping, you're a man, type thing. But at the same time, she was very nurturing. So I think that was the first time I've ever felt like I was in love. It was with, like I said, with women, it was just, I looked for that. And it was unfair because a lot of females didn't have that. That's just not their character. Mm-hmm. And that was my mom. Now, what she was toward my dad was, something totally different. But I just saw her as mom.
Yeah.
Who knows? She might have beat my dad when we weren't.
Actually, like you talk about the Oedipus complex, and I listened to this book. I didn't read it, but I listened on audio format.
Yeah, that's European big time. That's freaking crazy.
No, but it said this guy called Joseph Campbell talk about. His book is called A Hero of a Thousand Faces, mm-hmm. and he's talking about. He analyzed major religions, and he said that there's common stories. So he's talking about archetypes and art stories. Sure. And he said the whole Oedipus thing is actually an art story. It's common throughout the world, mm-hmm. different cultures. And it says it's just kind of like a normal thing, the fear of an overbearing father. I think that's basically the fear, or then loving your mother too much. So it's not. It's nothing sexual. People think it's a sexual.
Sure,
thing.
They make it. Well, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It became European as when you looked at the kings and they were like, "I want to marry my sister."
Well, yeah, that's
I want to marry my mom.
That's a weird shit.
Yeah, hey, we're gonna keep all the money in the family.
No, the bloodline shit. We gotta keep the bloodline pure.
Yeah. You got teeth spaced out.
Everyone else is like, wait a minute. everyone else knew not to do that.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not gonna. My mom, I never had to be taught not to fill on my mom. It's...
Most people no, this is not natural. This is not natural. All right.
Right.
All right. What was the most embarrassing moment in your life?
Man, I had quite a few of those. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. The most embarrassing one? I don't know. I don't know. I think when I failed the 4th grade for the 5th time.
That happened?
No, I'm just joking. No, I think it was, I don't know. I don't know. Because if I think back about, I was playing basketball. I went for a layup and ripped my pants. Mm-hmm. But then you're like, yeah, you're a kid. That kind of stuff. So I'm trying to think of, I don't know. I don't have very many of those. I don't think I care. You know what I mean? Because to be embarrassed, you've really got to have some sort of care about something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I have to think about that.
Well, here's a good one. What was the most terrifying moment in your life?
Oh, man. To me, I think it was when I think I was losing my mom. She was huge. When the doctor said, when she was about to have her cancer surgery, and he was like, she could die. And I'm like, what? She could die? And I mean, I've had guns drawn on me. Mm. I've been across seas and had guns drawn on me. And I mean, that doesn't feel good, but I can't even describe it when that doctor told me she may not make it off the operation table. Mm-hmm. Even, like I said, when that guy whipped up with that, and I mean, when I say pointing it, he was just waving it around. And I mean, he didn't put it in my face. I mean, I've had cops put guns. I had guys put guns in my. But I think that was the scariest thing because I'm like, I'm about to lose my mom, and I think if I had to say that was the scariest thing because I remember the surgery thinking, he's like, it's going to take 4 hours to do it, and then 6 hours had gone by, 7 hours had gone by. It was just horrible. So I think that would be it for me. Yeah.
Sad. Have you ever had a spiritual or profound experience?
Yes. I think my spiritual experience when I dropped religion.
Yeah?
Yeah. Right. I remember sitting in my car one day and I was like, enough of this shit. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm not going to beg something I can't see for guidance in a world that I'm living in. And that was, to me, the beginning of my spiritual, because I do believe in spirituality. I mean, like I said, I don't know. And, like I grew up, wait on a sign. Before you go to Thailand, pray about it. Mm-hmm. Wait for God to give you a sign. Like, what's the sign? man, I got the money, I got the ticket, I got the, I've got everything going. Yeah, but the plane was late. That's a sign, don't go, And I think once I dropped religion, organized religion, that was it, because my life took off after that. There were no boundaries,
Yeah, I did the same thing. I think I was raised Catholic. Sorry. God, it made you feel so guilty about everything, like all the original sin. Always,
oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Like, whoa, I didn't do that shit.
Yeah. What do you mean? You see that girl there, and things start, your heart starts to flutter, and things start growing, and that's a sin. Go beat yourself. Get out of here.
Go over there. Go molest a little boy.
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah. But
actually, yesterday, because I never did any drugs before I was a cop or during I was a cop, but like I started experimenting with. I started doing pot. I'm like, okay, that's the only thing I feel bad about when I was a cop. About arresting people. Like now, it's like
you were a prick.
Yeah, that's the one thing I realized. Like how stupid that freaking law is, and how like helpful pot is.
Not that I've ever done it.
Well, it's like no, this is so.
Sure.
I think, man, I know.
You bought into a system.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with systematics, is that when you say I'm part of a system, that's why with certain things, when people say, he's a white guy, he goes, well, Elijah, if black people are having an issue with police and the government and their Congress people and all this kind of stuff, right? Then why don't they do something about it? And Richard Pryor.
Yeah, but
many years ago, he goes, and it's so profound. He goes, in order to replace the people, you've got to be like the people. You're not going to go into a situation, just like you just said. Right now, when you were a cop, you became a part of a system, and that system had rules, and you abided by those rules, and you didn't even think twice about, hey, you got pot on you, and I'm arresting you because it's the right thing to do. You've never smoked it. You probably didn't have friends that did it, or if you had friends that did it, you look down. Can't believe you did that. Look at yourself. I'm not saying you personally, but
no, I remember doing that when I was a lot younger, like in college. Like, oh, this is wrong, and and now it's like. And
then when you experience, you're like, holy crap! But then it's like it's that system. You would have never been a part of that system had you have gone in saying, hey, pot isn't wrong. We don't want him. We want somebody that's going to continue to get this revenue. I mean, this is a guy that's got 3 kids. You're right. This guy has this guy that you just arrested, not you, but one just arrested. He's got 3 kids. He's got 2 freaking jobs, right? That he's trying to provide for his kids.
Probably not paying shit.
And then guess what? And guess what happens, right? He needs to fucking debrief. He's just got to go light up that blunt and just like, I got my baby mom on my ass. I got these kids screaming. I got this job, 2 jobs. One's a carpenter job, and I'm 35-year-old and my supervisor's 20. You know what I mean? And he's like, man, all I want to do is light up this blunt, and what happens? Whoop, whoop, you're going to jail. Now,
well, one thing I tell people is this, like, I mean, towards my end of being a cop, I know, like, me and a couple other cops were doing the same thing, like get rid of it. Like, it's not it's not worth it. Just like, okay, we didn't see it, just get rid of it. I promise you, just go ahead and go.
Sure.
That's what we did, because, like, at some point, like, you see how it's taxing to the justice system.
Sure.
Like, it's not worth the arrest. It's not worth going to court for. It's not worth changing someone's life over. This is basically, even in the studies, I forgot, was it the World Health Organization? One of these major medical organizations that like most negative affecting drugs in the world based on sociological standards, economic standards, and I think psychological standards. It's pot is probably one of the lowest on the list.
Of course.
Well, alcohol's number 1.
Sure.
So the thing that's legal.
Sure. Well, because you know why? You're going to catch hell taxing it. Because you can grow pot out of your, you can't make vodka. You can make moonshine. You can't make Hennessy.
You can make beer.
You can make beer, right. But you notice that you can make beer legally, right? But how do you make Hennessy? How do you make vodka? You know, you have to have the grain and go through all that.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, you can make a bootleg, but you can only make a certain amount. It can only be for consumption of yourself. So, do I think that if I ever were to smoke marijuana, that I want the government to mandate it? No, because everything else they've mandated grown tumors, and you know, it's just like, hey, do you want to lose weight? You know, and take this pill.
Eat this sugar.
Well, eat this artificial sugar that has been known to cause cancer in laboratory rats.
All sugar, like I remember reading NPR recently that the Wall Street Journal did a major news break about this, I think, a year or two. Like the sugar companies bribed a whole bunch of scientists back in the like 60s or 70s, saying like it wasn't sugar causing heart disease; it was fats. Sure. It turned out that no, fats are good for you.
Fats are very good. Yes.
Yeah, if it's coming from food, it's coming from natural food. It's coming just from fruits or vegetable or nuts and meats. That's good for you. Right. Olive oil, that kind of stuff. Sure. It's the sugar. And so for the past 30, 40 years, how many people die from diabetes?
Sure, from sugar, right.
Yeah, from
bleached bread. You see, that's what people don't realize is that sugar, grain sugar, that's not what's killing you. You know, this is why people have to travel, right? When I went to Thailand, I ate rice every day, 3-4 times a day. I ate rice. Stuff that I'm not supposed to eat here. Grit, rice, bread. I ate that crap every single day. I lost more weight there. Why? Because, one, I was more active.
Yeah.
2, there wasn't all the different ingredients that they're putting in this stuff to make it taste good. Leave things alone.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to give you medical marijuana. Then we're going to play with the strand just in case you... No, leave it alone.
Well, I think...
Leave it alone.
I remember some comedian talking about that. Like, he said, like, when in California, it was Ron White. He said, like, yeah, when California passed medical marijuana, I'm like, man, I need to kick. I had weaned off normal marijuana. I got myself a medical marijuana, and now it's legal again. Get myself a regular marijuana. But you might as a joke, like, it's the same shit.
Yeah,
it's the same shit.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
All right, because I want to work out before I see my friend for dinner. Okay, is there something you dreamed of doing for a long time, and why haven't you done it? So something you haven't done yet, you've been like on your mind.
She's dead. Whitney Houston.
Really?
Oh yeah, I loved her.
I don't know, man. She was a crackhead. She was a crackhead.
Watch out, man. Remember, a man's woman and his wife. His woman, his wife, and his. Yeah, I loved Whitney Houston, man. But I think I pretty much do everything that I want to do.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah, I love Whitney Houston.
Okay, what's next? You have any big regrets?
Too few to mention. I don't think so. Yeah,
Frank Sinatra. That?
Too few to mention. Yeah.
What is your most treasured memory?
It's a lot of them. Most treasured. My mom buying me my first 2 G.I. Joe figures. I don't think of Christmas ever. That one and her finding my Chewbacca figure. And, I lost it. It was my favorite action figure as a kid. It's my favorite action figure. And I lost it somewhere. And that was, I don't think I ever had a Christmas that good. I mean, I've had great Christmases. But Scarlet and a Cobra Officer were the first 2 G.I. Joe figures I actually got. And she found my Chewbacca figure, and it was in our little Jesus clock that she had. I don't know how it got there. She put it there. But when I saw it, I just cried. I mean, it was, like I said, that was like the most memorable Christmas I've ever had. So, yeah, it was good.
Christmas. What's the most trip? All right, this is going to be the last 2 questions. This is the last one. If you know you were going to die in 1 year, would you change anything about the way you are living?
Probably not. No, because I'm doing what I want to do now anyway. Okay. Yeah, no.
All right, and this is the last question. It's actually a 2-part question. What is the worst thing you ever done, and what's the best thing you ever done?
The worst thing I've ever done is something I'm not going to say. And the best thing I've ever done is not saying the worst thing I've ever done.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And probably when people actually listen to this, probably be a year out because I'm getting all these interviews, trying to bundle them up. And what's going to happen is it's going to be unedited, so it's going to be the full time. I'm not going to fool around with what was said or not.
Right.
But like, yeah, I'm probably by hopefully mid 2018, I actually have enough so I can just pull out probably 10 or 15 episodes at once.
Cool.
I keep going like that.
Cool. Yeah, man. Have me. I like that. I mean, it's never thought I'd be doing something like this.
Yeah, it's a little project I want to work on, see if people like it. All right. Well, I'm going. All right. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Thank you again for listening. I want to thank you to Coach Elijah. Really great guy. Very great guy to talk to, even though I don't agree that Whitney Houston should be anyone's dream girl. Because Bobby fucked her up. And again, come visit our website, ataboolife.com. Come check that out. And also, I want to thank Purple Planet Music for the intro and outro music. Thanks again, and have a great week.